Petr Yan has been out of sight, out of mind, if you will. Deiveson Figueiredo has definitely had the assurgence that you're going to be looking for in somebody who's going to be storming up the bantamweight division right here. Is he going to become a two-weight champion? You got a couple guys in front of you before we decide that, but this is a major stepping stone to determine, is he in line for the shot? So my first question to you is, if you took a look at the open, you saw a pretty nasty open right here, man. Look at the favorite right here. Minus 260 plus 195. If you look at the current odds right now, AJ, and I'll go ahead and take a look. Minus 320 for Petr Yan, plus 250 for Deiveson Figueiredo right here. So my question to you is, when it comes down to this matchup, are you thinking about what have you done for me lately? Or are you thinking about the dominant, supreme reign that these guys had respectively in their division?
I'm definitely thinking about what have you done for me lately a little bit more in this fight, Derek, than the latter, especially with how Figueiredo has really come into his own in the 135-pound division. Like, he's on a storm, brother. In these last three fights, he's looking really good. And nonetheless, I mean, even the 125, he was keeping up, if not dominating top-tier opponents. And now he has a chance to repeat that going forward, especially stylistically with how we've seen Figueiredo evolve in his game. He's no longer the bully. He can't be the bully anymore, going up against a fighter who likes to be the bully in Petr Yan. This makes a lot of sense to see how they've each sort of kind of stuck to their game plans as of late.
I think it's interesting you say that, because I've seen from Deiveson Figueiredo a technical version of himself, which isn't strange or weird at all. But it was a guy who before would rely on just walking you down massive power, to now saying, all right, well, listen, let's take stylistic approaches. I'm going to take you down. I'm going to work my game, and I'm going to be better where you're not better. Now, one place that most people would very clearly say Deiveson Figueiredo is better is in the grappling department. Would you agree?
Oh, yeah, 100%. But that's just on the eye test. When you think of it instantly, Petr Yan can hold his own in the grappling.
Well, that's what I was going to say. If you take a look at the numbers, right? Sad statistic, if you're a Petr Yan backer, been taken down 15 times in his last 5 fights. With that being said, AJ, the man still maintains an 85% takedown defense rate in, 13 fights in the UFC? So that goes to show the man has incredible takedown defense. Maybe easier said than done to be able to get the fight to the ground, which is what makes me think in a pure striking contest where clinch, all of the takedown attempts are all mixed in here, I just have a feel like Deiveson Figueiredo might be able to really work rounds 1, rounds 2.5, maybe even 3.5. But as the fight builds, we know Petr Yan is a builder. A little bit of a slow starter, but he builds and he does not stop. Does that concern you at all if you're a Deiveson Figueiredo backer?
Oh, absolutely, Derek. That's one of the things I had, right? Especially for Deiveson Figueiredo, who is that slower or more methodical aspect that he's been trying to take, right? Patient at distance. He likes to set things up. But if he doesn't get those rounds, if he doesn't bank those rounds in on Petr Yan to start, Figueiredo has a hell of a hill to climb once that hill really starts growing like Petr Yan wants it to be.
Last 3 wins for Deiveson Figueiredo, though, man. Rob Font, Cody Garbrandt, and Marlon Chito Vera. Very, very impressive. If you look at the last win for Petr Yan, Song Yadong, you can't be mad at that, man. That's a big win over a very hungry young contender right there. 3 losses. Aljamain Sterling, I think we know how that one went. Sean O'Malley, and then Merab Dvalishvili right there. So both of these guys have had a very, very good strength of schedule, but I think it just comes down to new division, new opposition. We got to kind of throw all of that stuff in the past out the window. So let's take a look at the line, man. Like I said, Petr Yan has flipped major, minus 320 favorite at this point. AJ, this is one thing that I have to say, and I even have to solo myself out for this one. If you were betting Deiveson Figueiredo, you have to feel extremely happy, because these odds are ridiculous. To be able to take Deiveson Figueiredo at plus 250 right now, I just think that this is one of those where Petr Yan, in my opinion, because I'm backing him, I think that he's the rightful favorite, but I don't think that he's that heavy of a favorite in comparison to his opposition. So if we're looking at money line versus even assessing any of the props from Deiveson Figueiredo, do you just purely say take the money line and run, or is there reason to look deeper into this one, I should say?
I personally, Derek, take the money line and run. Yeah, you look at those props, there's some juice right there to be had. I mean, everything above 550, right? Props or TKO submission decision, all of them can make you massive cash right here. But with the levels of how both fighters are, right, the stylistics that they actually are going to be going up against each other with, the money line plus money makes a lot of sense for Figgy if you're backing Figgy.
All right, fair play, man. So give me a realistic breakdown of how this fight goes down. Number 3 in the division, Jan. Number 5 in the division for Figueiredo. Could be an early, strong start for Figueiredo, like I said, but do we see a finish in this fight? Petr Yan has gone the decision 5 times in his last 5 fights. Figueiredo is definitely much more of having like finishing capabilities right here, but we also have to really test Deiveson Figueiredo's chin at 135 pounds. Might be a little bit different. Give me the prediction, because if we're looking at the over and the under on this one, let me just go ahead and pull it up. We're looking at 4.5 rounds, minus 170 for the over, plus 140 for the under. What are your thoughts?
A little closer than I was expecting, Derek. I thought the over was going to be a big favorite right here. I don't think we're going to see a finish on this one, folks. If it's going to be a finish, it's going to be a TKO more than likely from the Jan side. If it's going to be that same a finish for Figgy, I mean, a submission's up to play, but I don't even know how many times Petr Yan has been submitted. I don't even think it's been yet, right? Zero. Yeah, exactly. So doubt it's going to happen. There could be a TKO. That's why what's one of the good props for Figgy. But that plus 550 decision, same thing, plus 125 for Petr Yan. That seems to be the most sense to have right here. I see this one going over for sure.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a long, drawn-out battle right here. At the end of the day, I'm going to talk for myself here. I can't speak for you, AJ. I think that Petr Yan is just going to be a little bit more proficient, a little more technical, and be able to avoid some of those bad spots Deiveson Figueiredo is going to be in. At bantamweights, because we're not talking about flyweight right here, more established, I think he gets the job done, and I think he gets the job done via decision. So you have a very clear play here if you're backing Petr Yan. Plus 125 decision. I would not take minus 320 money line. I think the price is too steep for how game Figueiredo and how close of a fight he could make this. Give your thoughts on this one.
100%, Derek. And this is a very, very close fight, folks. I have an asterisk as well because there's a good chance that both of these fighters can make that night their night and be able to dominate in how their style wants to be, right? I expect Figgy to start a little faster than normal, try to get the pressure going up against Jan, stack that deck, stack those first 2 rounds in his favor, so that way he's able to frustrate Petr Yan, get him to the ground, work some cage grappling, get this fight to where he needs to be able to nullify the strength and speed that Petr Yan presents, because Petr Yan's going to be the bigger fighter. He's arguably going to have more power. It's just when Deiveson Figueiredo finds his moments, he's able to hurt you in those spots, and that's where I see him winning this fight.
All right, fair play. Folks, that's your main event. Those are your picks. Contentious picks right here. No consensus, but may the best man win. It's going to be a very, very fun main event.